What is your don't get me started on topic? People buying animals when they have no clue how to take care of them. It's mostly the exotic animals that boil my blood. Most reptiles, amphibians, some fish, and birds can live over 10-20 years when taken care of properly. Birds typically over 50 years. Do your research. Parrots are generally included in people's wills. Parents who complain about the people volunteering for youth sports. I coached youth baseball and I sit on the board for it. I get so incredibly worked up when I get started talking about some of the parents who have kids in our organization. They be in their moan and they complain because they're sure their kid is super special and is the most skilled player to ever grace the sport, when in reality their kid got put in right field because all he ever does is spin in circles and pick dandelions or build sandcastles in the baselines. They be about the field conditions because our volunteers haven't had enough time or help or money to make them World Series worthy, and God forbid little Johnny play on some piddly little sandlot with weeds in the infield. And those parents paid this much money for their kid to be taught baseball and they don't like the way this volunteer coach is teaching the game. But don't ask that parent to volunteer to coach in his place. They don't have the time and don't know enough about the sport to coach. And then they want to complain about how I'm revamping the program so that coaches have more practices to work on skills with the kids. And they complain about the schedules and the teams and they wanted to get placed with this kid or that coach, and why can't little Susie play up a division? So what if she's half their size and 2 years behind developmentally? Her cousin plays on that team and we don't want to drive her to practice all the time, accommodate all of our asinine requests and turn our kids into all-stars within the summer. The kids I can handle, even the ones that act like little terrors, but the parents make me consider rage quitting every year. Welcome to refereeing and umpiring, but throw the coaches in the mix as well. Freaking Shark Week. Leave those cool butt fish alone and stop trying to make people hate them. I was watching it with a group of people and went off on my rant when they were all vouching for the massacre of sharks. They were unnecessarily afraid of them. I've swam with motherfricking sharks. I jumped in a tank with 23 goddamn sharks. The hammerheads came to say hi, and you know what I did? I thought that's a goddamn cool butt fish and didn't get fricking eaten. They aren't psycho murderers. They don't revel in a blood orgy as red stains the churning waters. We go in their territory where they are hungry as crap because look how freaking big and powerful they are. And get bitten. If I get eaten by a shark, oops, I fricked up and stepped in the amoral way of nature. You better not kill that freaking shark either. That shark ate me because it was hungry. Kill it and my death loses meaning in nature. Let Emmy freaking turn into shark muscle. That would be cool as crap. But if I had to 1v1 a shark in a prison rules cage match with a dagger, I'd freaking stab the crap out of it. Law of the jungle, B. That goes for everything. Someone once pointed out that we are far more violent to sharks than sharks are to us. If sharks had Discovery Channel, they would produce a human week, and all the bloody terror it would sow would actually be justified. Cute crap my cat does. One time in class I was showing a girl pictures in my phone and she goes, "AWW, how cute. You've got a whole folder for her." But it wasn't a folder. That's just what my entire camera roll looks like. Don't get me started on gardening. I will corner you for hours and show you photos or take you out to my yard to talk about my dirt and watering technique. I would hate me so dang much if I was someone else. Let's be friends. I moved to the southwest and started a cucumber plant in a pot and it's now overtaken the curtain rod. I'm both amused and exasperated. Also, I'm curious about your dirt technique and happy you call it dirt and not soil. Customers assuming that well you fixed it once, so you must have caused the problem after they drop it in a puddle. Run it over. Feed it to a mongoose. Correlation does not imply causation. I manage a repairs warehouse for electronic devices. I hear this above daily as reports from the stores that contact me. Wine and winemaking. I studied it a bit in school and worked at a winery, and there are few industries full of more unearned ego and total bulls. The man I made wine with is a farmer first. He slaves and loves each bunch of grapes like a child. He hardly freaking sleeps because as soon as the sun sets on the fields, he's doing chemistry work to understand his land's terroir, consulting for other winemakers trying to do it the right way, or marketing online. And his wine is so good, I'm not going to put my nose up and talk about the big green pepper edge in his Cab Franc or the velvet feel of his Bordeaux blend because it doesn't matter as much as this. It's just good. Any person on the planet would sip his wine and have a multi-level taste experience, smile, and want more. Meanwhile, almost everyone else around us is a rich person looking for a tax loophole. The joke where I am from in Virginia is, a good way to make a small fortune and wine is start with a large one. It's just a hobby for the wealthy people around here, and they make total garbage wine, and then overcharge for it, and then people pretend it's good. The whole culture of winner making and wine drinking, in the US at least, is a giant circular jerk. I know that taste and flavor is subjective, but it's not even close. Most wineries near me have to make all sweet wines to hide their terrible craft beneath the mask of sugar, but they bought a ritzy looking tasty room that the truly good small ball guys can't afford, and everyone thinks that means they must be better. Crap, I did get started. Now I need a drink. Or a bottle. Music snobbery. You're not suddenly a better person because of the kind of music you happen to enjoy. I know way too many people like that and it makes me rant a bit. Excuse me, Mozart was the OG. All you haters can GTFO. The DMV. Nothing will boil my blood quicker. It's highway robbery. They charge you a fee for everything. Use their pen. That will be $2. Breath air coming through their vents. That will be $2. Don't forget that they're going to be angry at you for no particular reason. They will probably lose your paperwork, and they take crappy photos of you. Space. My friends asked where the Big Dipper was once. I ended up giving them a 2-hour crash course of astrophysics, and forgot to tell them where the Big Dipper was. Sustainability. The way our society is slowly digging itself into a grave and we're all watching it go by as long as we get our iPhones. So much yes, I could sit there and talk about it for forever, but most people just nod and give a blank stare. How there is a severe lack of pro-dragon movies. Okay, there are a few like Dragonheart and Flight of Dragons, but there are also thousands of movies that don't even mention dragons at all. I loved dragons as a kid and loved reading Aragorn. The movie butchered that book more than any other movie butchered a book. It was 1000x worse than the 4th Harry Potter movie, which was also a total disaster. People who insist on bringing their tiny bus dog into the large dog side of the dog park. My park separates by weight, and then getting huffy when the big dogs want to play with their little dogs. The sign even says under 30 pounds dogs may enter this side, but at your own risk. You got that, you dumb freaks. At your own risk. I manage my large dog anyway because that's my job. But don't shoot me your dirty looks because my dog got too rough with your little rat dog for like 3 seconds before I was able to redirect her. Go to your own dang side if you can't handle it. Fuck. Oh, and don't let your dang 3-year-old toddle around a bunch of big dogs. They will get knocked over. Abortion. People like to immediately start talking bad about it like everyone has their opinion and don't realize that perhaps someone amongst them has had one and doesn't feel the same. What raises my hackles is how if you have complicated feelings on the subject at all, that apparently means that you're a horrible person to both sides. Christianity. When I say that, what I mean is don't get me started on explaining how people do terribly unchristian things in the name of Christ and anti-religious people treat that like it's the core of the religion. As a Christian, the same things annoy me. It's the same things with cops. A few bad cops do a few bad things, and now people think all cops are terrible. Just because some Christians do some bad things doesn't mean all Christians are terrible. Beats headphones, or most other fashionable audio gear. It's highway robbery. People do a lot of work tracking, editing, and mixing audio just for you to play it through your speakers with 40 dB bass boost. If they wanted the bass to be 40 dB louder, they would have mixed it that way. Find reasonably flat response headphones instead of looking for all the buzzwords. How stupid people are. Specifically, people who are applying to work in childcare. I work with the files that include the application forms when they submit fingerprint results for checking backgrounds, and I have a few answers for some people who appear a little confused. No, you do not live in USA County. No, your social security number does not start with the letter K. Yes, you have to fill out all of the fields. We cannot process your request if we don't have your date of birth, your employer's signature, your signature, the name of the facility you're working in, etc. Also, yes, we need every page of the form. No, you may not make up for the missing 2 pages by sending the first 2 pages twice, or 8 times. No, your request will not be processed if you don't send us your fingerprints. Yes, we believe you about your name change. So no, we do not need photocopies of your divorce papers and subsequent marriage license. We literally only need one form and your fingerprint results. Yes, we do actually check your criminal records. And, no, you may not work in a church daycare after molesting and assaulting a child. Twice. We have lists for that, and we do not take them lightly. People are stupid. Okay, rant over. People are, on average, of average intelligence. Can't be bothered to find and link the relevant XKCD. Movie theaters. They're overpriced and I hate them, but with new movies there's no other option, other than watching a crappy cam version. I went and saw San Andreas a few months ago. It was the first movie I'd seen in a theater in years, and, I gotta say, that whole theater experience really sucks. The screen didn't look at all better than my own TV, the chairs were uncomfortable, and the floor was sticky and littered with garbage. I had to wait in line for 15 minutes just to watch that crappy movie in that disgusting theater, and the worst part about it was that my dad beat me down with jumper cables in the parking lot. I wish they'd just allow me to stream the movie at home, where I can pause it without missing an important scene and I'm not sitting next to 75 strangers who whisper and chew their food loudly. Oh, for frick's sake, I've been got again. User interface design. Functionality and usability has taken a backseat to flashy visuals and awkwardly emphasized workflows that marketing departments want you to go through, rather than building an interface around a coherent metaphor that makes sense to the user. I have very strong opinions about this stuff, and virtually no one in power agrees with me, so I just accept defeat and implement whatever awful ideas I have. Sorry, computer using world, I do what I can. The misconceptions about the Middle Ages. The second someone says some crap like the Christian Dark Ages, I have to grit my teeth or otherwise risk driving everyone away with the mothaload of all spur grants. There was more than just people sitting around dying of the plague, burning every book they could find and crapping in buckets, goddammit. Heck, the plague wasn't even around until comparatively late in the era. How HBO is ruining Game of Thrones with its TV series. It started out really great and very close to source material, but in the last seasons it's just BS after BS. Barristan dying to a bunch of retards nobodies when he is still alive and kicking in the books. Not to mention, he's considered the best swordsman in the entire world in the official canon. Series not being it. They also ruined Jaime's arc by having him going to Dawn. That never happens. The sand snakes are laughable as well. etc etc. Really pisses me off. The worst thing that should have happened to Sansa this season was Littlefinger looking at her weird while she ate cake at the Arry, but new. How a lot of people on Reddit are more focused on making clever references, trying to be clever in general, circle-joking and making stupid jokes than actually trying to contribute to discussion. I don't need to see you like that, you freaking retard. About Trifidi and Nickelback is crap haha on every thread. You gotta find the small subreddits dedicated to specific things that have regular contributors. You get to know people and it's nice. Default subs are huge shitshows. Military praise. No, it's not because of you that I can vote, unless you were either a soldier in the Revolutionary War or a drafter of the Constitution. Also, I'm tired of being at Memorial Day and Veterans Day services when the presenter or organizers don't seem to know the difference between the two. I'm sure there are a lot of heroes among our current and past military ranks, but just having served doesn't make you a hero. Also, served? Sure. Some people sign up to help their country, but others don't know what they want to do, or want some of the benefits, or want to get paid to learn and better themselves. It's not always service. True story. Combining a few of my points, I was at a Memorial Day service at my church. For some reason they included firemen and police and government employees. Either they didn't have enough military folks or the organizers were family of civil employees, I guess. Strike one. They asked each person when they served. The people were all living. Strike 2. One guy, who had just returned from one of those honor flights to DC, was asked what he did or where he served. He named a fort in the US and said he didn't really do anything. People applauded. Ugh, you got me started. Most people in the military would agree with you. I have no idea what to say when I'm told thank you for your service. Navy here. Not me, but my son. My son, for whatever reason, freaking hates movie theaters. One time, he finally agreed to go with me to a movie for the first time in years. I asked him why he didn't like to go to movie theaters and he went on this long rant about how uncomfortable the chairs are and crap like that. When we get there he is complaining about waiting in line. Kids are so impatient these days. He also complained that the resolution of the screen isn't even as good as our TV at home. I think he was just upset that I didn't get IMAX tickets. Anyways, I was getting real tired of his crap. So when we got out of the movie and walked into the parking lot, I beat the crap out of him with jumper cables. GMOs. I'm for them and want this to be my career. So it gets pretty old when people ask me what I want to do. They always say something like, well, you should stay away from Monsanto. I'd actually love to work for Monsanto. Ford vs Chevy. I hate people who die hard follow one brand and consider people who drive the other morons. All cars break down. Language changes and how terrible everyone thinks they are and how adding this new word and that new usage to the dictionary will bring about the fall of humanity. Honestly, language evolves and that is all there is to it. It's neither good nor bad. It just is. You cannot and will not stop it by complaining about it. Stop bitching about how awful your life is because you heard someone use literally to mean figuratively. I bet you've used 3 dozen words that someone made up, because words don't get made up. They exist and then are discovered like dinosaur bones in the last 50 years in the past 10 minutes. Spirit science. Good freaking God. I hate that stupid freaking page that my friends are constantly sharing from. I could write an entire novel as to why I hate that page, but I'll touch on a few points. Jews aren't from space. Martians never existed, let alone bred with humans to form the Illuminati. Atlantis has never existed. And you can't channel famous scientists, then dismiss science. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.